Well, hello, out there, YouTube world, and welcome to another video. And thanks for joining in. And I appreciate you coming to see what this video might be about today. Once again, I'm Lucas Burton. I work as a personal development coach, and I did work as a therapist for the past 21 years. And so I made this subtle shift over the last year into doing coaching. Um, so I wanted to talk today about, when you get those subtle little limiting beliefs, and I say subtle because for some they're subtle and others they're horrendous, and you know the ones I'm talking about, right? When you're struggling, or even when you're not struggling, I should say. You know, I started this business and it's not going as well, and I've only been really hammering it out for the last little bit. And every time I try to do something, it goes to crap, right? You limit how you're talking. I mean, it's a negative thought about yourself. And there might be some truth that your business may not be doing as well as you hoped, but it limits your capabilities, right? It limits your ability to see in your own mind, right, how you're doing. And what it actually gives you a photo of is how you're actually talking to yourself when you're struggling, right? It's hard to flip it, right? I think Mel Robbins calls it that. She uses flip, and I always say, like, turn it on its head, right? You know, so your business isn't doing well. So what else can you do to get your business going, right? And those become your mantras, right? Well, I need to keep focusing on my business, and it will turn around. It will be successful, right? But the more you talk to yourself about how it won't be rather than how it is and what you're going to do to change that, you will stay in that limited belief system about yourself. What I find interesting about this, and what I noticed when I used to do this to myself, and I still do, I'll still catch myself like, Luke, why did you do that? Or, it's always bad, or relationships are always bad, right? And just love to kick the crap out of ourselves, right? About this stuff, right? Oh, I didn't do very well doing this, and I didn't help that person doing that, and I didn't this, and I should have done better, and and it on and on and on it goes, right? But what I find really interesting is that stuff will come out. And then when I talk to someone, and when I started, flipping it or turning it on its head, like, you know, I'm not always doing bad. You know, all of my relationships aren't always bad. And then I noticed that felt like, it feels so fake, right? It feels so like BS's, right? It's just crap. Like, that's not gonna work. So what I've noticed is that if I keep telling myself it won't work, it won't, because I won't want to do it. I'll do it, one or two or three times. But we hate to do those repetitive things, right? We hate to like keep going on and on, right? But we love to go on and on about all the crappy things we think about ourselves. But when it comes to doing the work and actually turning that, we'll get what I noticed is I got resentful, almost like, I'm not doing that. That crap's not going to work. But then eventually you keep doing it and you buy in, right? Like, and you start thinking, right? Well, if I talk like crap about myself and I feel like crap, I bet you if I was more encouraging to myself, I'd probably feel more encouraged, right? And you're not waiting around for someone else to encourage you, right? You're doing it on your own, right? So you're subtly changing your limited beliefs about yourself, but it actually requires work. Like, it requires a lot of effort. And I shouldn't say a lot, it requires effort. And the more you put into it, the bigger the change will be. But even for myself, I've noticed, like, if those changes aren't like a drive-through, in Canada, we call them Tim Hortons, right? If they ain't like that, like the order's there, then, we're going to go somewhere else. Which is sad when you think about it, because you have the power to change yourself And it's hard to realize that that change will probably not be immediate, you know, but we get stuck in that, you know, almost like this instant gratification, right? That, okay, well, this guy told me to work on this. And, you know, that's based on facts, right? The more that we challenge our limiting beliefs or our negative thought patterns, we challenge them with more optimistic viewpoints, right? More realistic, right? If you say all my relationships are crap, like I said I did, right? Really, are all my relationships crap? Well, no, I have some pretty good, and I've had some pretty good ones, and I do have pretty good ones, right? But when we limit ourselves to that, we become limited. When you open it up, then you start to expand. Your mind starts to expand. Your viewpoint of view starts to expand. I mean, where does that come from? I mean, if I was, you know, I would think it happens to do probably with some sort of childhood trauma or some, you know, way that attachment, how we've done attachment stuff, which is also related to how we were raised. And it doesn't mean it's your parents' fault. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that typically when we do a lot of that, there is that in our past, right? And we can get stuck in that over and over again, right? But I find it interesting that it feels weird to talk nicely about yourself in your own mind, right? But it's way easier to like just beat the crap out of yourself. And some people who have worked through that, they find the opposite different, right? It's really hard to talk negatively about themselves, like so negative. Like if you screw up and you're just like, I screwed that up. So what could I have done differently in that situation? See, that's the next piece. Yeah, I screwed up, but then what can I do differently? Right? Rather than I screwed up, I always screw up, I continue to screw up every day and do this and do that, right? Rather than the next piece. Right? And it's usually the next piece that a great deal of us will find very uncomfortable. And it'll be like, that crap's not gonna work, Luke. It's just not gonna work. No, not doing it. Okay. Well, I can't convince you to try it if you don't want to. All I'm saying is that the more that you challenge those limited beliefs that you have about yourself, better results you're gonna get. Anyways, hope that was helpful. Please like and subscribe if you. That would be great if you did. Not if you like. It'd be great if you did. It helps me out a lot. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. All right? Take care.